Does anybody recognize this? This is Dingac by Saints Hills Winery from Croatia, 𝗶𝗶𝗴𝘁, well, partially from 𝗶𝗶𝗴𝘁. And this is what we're talking about today. Saints Hills Winery. I'm very happy. Hi, Diana. I'm very happy to be hosting this, and I'm going to be joined very quickly. And it's happening by Diana of Girls Drink Wine Too, and Diana Self the Living. She's connecting right now, and we also have another. Hey, hi.
Hi, I made it. Good, how are you?
Yeah, sorry, I sort of left it last minute as well. I do apologize.
It's okay, we're on.
It's been a hectic Saturday, I have to tell you.
I know, it's been a nice, I just finished my 𝗣ecie today. We hit Italy, and you know, it's quite intensive today.
Italy, it can be complex.
Yes.
But I love it to death. I have to be honest. I know you are biased because your husband is Italian, but I really, really like Italian wine. Not just Italian wines, the whole thing. You know, it's so diverse.
I do. I love Italian wines too. I'm really loving. I know we're talking Croatian wines today, but I'm really loving Sicilian wines. So.
Yeah. We need to send some love over to Italy.
Exactly.
Switch over to Italy, to Croatia. Sorry.
Yes, all the love to Croatia.
By the way.
Hi, 𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, we're going to be joined by Antonija as well. Let me see if I can invite her to join. Just a sec. Okay, here we go. I'm inviting her to join as well. Of course, Antonija is going to be our insider expert from Saints Hills Winery.
Yeah.
And the two of us are just going to drink and enjoy as we always do. And tell a few things about the wines, tell a few things about the winery. You of course know about Saints Hills. You have it over there in Canada through Croatia Unpacked. We're gonna
Thank goodness.
say a few things about them. Yeah. Do you know what was the first thing you tried from Saints Hills?
It was the 𝗏𝗏.
Oh,
and then the Dingac, and then the Posh. So I did like all over the place, right?
Yeah. It wasn't. I was. I tried sort of a few things right off the bat because the first time I tried their wines, I was visiting the winery.
Right.
So I got to try the full gambit right off the bat. And Antonija is unable to join. Maybe there's something wrong with her. Oh, she's here. Hi, Antonija. Hey.
She's on.
Antonija. Oh yeah, I see your request. Here we go. You know what? 3 people on Instagram Live it's a lot.
It's a little tricky, right?
Okay,
Hi,
here we go. Hi.
Hi, how are you guys? Hi.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Fine, thank you.
Cool. Well, welcome, Antonija. This is our little corner where we drink wine and pretend as if it's work.
Sounds like fun, right?
It's the only way
Someone has to do it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Antonija, by the way, where are you at the moment? Where are you?
At the moment, I'm in middle of 𝗶𝗶𝗴𝘁, just a few kilometers from the winery, Saints Hills, where I live now.
Right. 𝗶𝗶𝗴𝘁 Peninsula, of course, for those of you who are not our regular viewers. It's Croatia's one of the most renowned, if not the most renowned wine region in Croatia. Very interesting to visit as well. Really, really beautiful region. A lot of history, a lot of great wine, of course, but also a lot of great food. It's just a pleasure to be around 𝗶𝗶𝗴𝘁. In fact, my main business is traveling around 𝗶𝗶𝗴𝘁 and taking people around because I do wine tours. But yeah, let's jump right into it. First and foremost, thank you so much for being with me, and thank you to everybody joining in. This is our sort of regular feature now. Every second Saturday, myself, Bozidar, and Diana from Canada, we try to do something like this. Now, Diana, of course, is in charge of Girls Drink Wine Too. and Diana's Healthy Living, both great pieces of social media content creating outlets. So do make sure to follow her. And I'm in charge of wineloverscroatia.com and the associated social media outlets. And Antonia, tell us something about you before we go over to the official stuff of the winery.
Thank you, thank you. I'm Antonia. I'm originally from a place, from town near Karlovac, but Karlovac is very near to the Zagreb. Zagreb is the capital of Croatia, where I also did my studies at the University of Agriculture. My major was viticulture and winemaking. So at my home we had a small vineyard. We always had some farming. So I was always a kid growing up in the nature and with the forest around. So I really loved biology, and agriculture was like a normal thing to do. It was just the winery. The winemaking that my parents didn't understand, but it's a very nice way of living, and I really enjoy the food and the wines, and for me it was very nice. Also, I did some practice in France in some vineyards, so I was from the beginning just in the agriculture. I was always preferring some vineyards stuff. And then later, as a student, I arrived to 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝘁𝘀 to the Saints Hills Winery, where I did some hosting, some tours to the winery. And one of the things that the promise when they give me the job was I will get the chance to do some things in the cellar, also in the harvest. So I accepted the job, of course, and I arrived from Zagreb straight to the 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝘁 in a region that wasn't very close to me, but finally I stayed year after year, harvest after harvest. I was coming back, and now I'm the head winemaker. I'm in charge for wine production, and also with Michel Roland, that is our consultant, and owner, Mr. Ernest, that is also involved in the winemaking. So I'm here now, yeah.
Right, so quite a journey. When you were back home as a kid, when whoever grew wine over there, it wasn't Plavac Mali, right?
No, not even close. Some Pinot Noir in my region, Chardonnay, 𝗥𝗏. It's also Croatian grapes, so more like this continental, cooler climate grapes. Yeah. But yeah, Plavac is a big experiment. Finally, a big how to say this, big izazov.
It is a challenge.
Yeah, for all the winemakers. Yeah, even with the more experience, there is always a fight with Plavac, how to ripe evenly, and so.
Right. Croatia, of course, a lot of people know this already. Actually, Croatia is very diverse region to region. We are a small country, but traveling from one end of the country to the other, you go through a few different regions when it comes to climate and soil. So it's very different varieties that are grown here and in the continental part, in Istria, the northern part of the coastline, or Slavonia, which is, of course, the northeastern part of the country. But so very cool journey for you. You are now in Saint Hills, and so you are in charge of the wines we're going to have. So if there's anything wrong with them, you're to blame.
Yeah, so far so good. Don't curse me.
First, I want to say I love, the diversity of Croatia itself. Like, I mean, I've driven obviously from Zagreb all the way down. My family's from the Dalmatian coast, from Trogir and from Zadar. So I see the different, aspect of that. But I love that, first of all, you're a woman in the wine industry. That is like something, I think women have actually always been in the industry, just have never been really recognized in the industry, right?
Yeah.
So what is your, right? Like, I mean, I know my aunts who live in the Dalmatian coast have always been part of farming, whatever it is, whether it's the vineyards. but never gotten that recognition. Whereas now women are becoming more recognized in the wine industry. But how's that been for you, especially in Croatia?
Yeah, for me, my generation is now, there was a lot of girls in the university finally, and there was later also some positions that my colleagues got the job. So now in some wineries you can find women on the top positions in the winemaking, really in charge in the production. Yeah. And for me, I didn't feel this, they say, world of men. But yes, they say women can do better smelling. We can find some more details. Yeah. So there was never some problems. Also in the 𝗶𝗃𝘁𝘀 region, from the history, there was always women in charge. Men were sailors. They were far away from the home most of the time, so women were in the vineyards also doing the hard jobs, working. So for 𝗶𝗃𝘁𝘀, it's maybe a normal thing for women to stay taking care of the wines.
Yes, that's what I see from, you know, my family and that, just in general in that region. Yeah. But before we get started, I just want to say that I'm very jealous of all your photos, by the way, when you post on Instagram. And I can't wait to be back in Croatia. So.
Yeah, but what is the situation? It's finally open or no? Because I see some tourists now. You can see, even in Stradun, in Dubrovnik, you can see more and more people shy, but I think it's coming.
Not here. We're still, everything's still on lockdown until probably the end of the month. I don't know what's going to happen then. I could only hope for the best, but I can't wait to travel. That's all I'm saying.
Me too.
Yeah. Canada has been restrictive, right?
Especially Ontario, our province where we are in Toronto. It's been very, very tough.
It's a shame. I mean, okay, you know, look, whatever. If we need to settle down for another month or so, and then we can travel, that's also fine, as long as the governments have some sort of a plan of letting us travel.
I know, right?
But yeah, I was actually down in the old town today. That's why I already have a tan.
Nice.
Because today was nice and sunny. Yeah. And I was down in the historical center of Dubrovnik. I am from Dubrovnik, for those who don't know, and I am currently living in Dubrovnik. And yeah, we do have some foreigners, travelers walking around. These poor people are sort of sticking out now because we are very much a destination, travel destination. So the city is very empty when we don't have any foreign guests. So now whenever you see somebody foreign, you see them, right? You notice them. And I did notice some Americans, mostly young people. But mostly it's European guests from closer countries. I've been hearing some Slavic languages, Czech, Polish, I think some Russian or Ukrainian. I can't really distinct easily between the two. So yeah, you know, people want to travel. Everybody really wants to travel, including me. So I think whenever we get the chance, we'll take it, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. I would like you to tell us a few things about Saints Hills Winery. Before, I do want to mention that you know, I don't know, would the three of us even meet without Croatia Unpacked from Canada. You have to recognize their effort in bringing us all together. Croatia Unpacked, of course, doing a lot of great things in promoting Croatian wine all the way in Canada. And I think generally speaking, a lot of Canadians who try Croatian wine are very interested. And I do get, because I am doing for 5 years now, this is going to be year number 6, wine tours in the Dubrovnik area. And I do get like disproportionately high number of Canadians compared to how many Canadians come to Dubrovnik. So I'm very happy to see, you know, country that's first so far away, and then such a, you know, different country to us when it comes to wine and perception of wine in local culture. I love when I see people from countries like Canada taking an interest and really understanding local wine and enjoying them. It's a really cool thing to sort of witness, you know. But yeah, I'm off on a tangent. Saints Hills Winery, Antonija, please tell us a few things about it.
So it's a family-owned winery. The owners are also Dalmatian. They are here from the region, and they started the wine business, winemaking, to promote more the indigenous varieties of Croatia. So the first that they got, it was the Istrian winery on the peninsula on the north of Croatia, where they produce the white wine. So the 𝗏𝗏 Istriana that we are grow is coming from our vineyard in Istria, plus some more international wines, also varieties that so it can be more acceptable for foreigners to check this variety. There is also Plavac that we grow in Dalmatia. There is 𝗏𝗏 vineyard and Dingac vineyard here in Peninsula. Plus the Posip coming from Korčula, also the indigenous variety that came after from Korčula Island. So there are 3 vineyards owned by the family, and we take the grapes from Korčula, where the Posip is originally from. Saints Hills Winery is just in the middle of 𝗏𝗏 in the inland, where we have the whole production. Mostly it's made in wooden tanks and concrete tanks, so no stainless steel, even for the whites. It's all the time in concrete. And actually it was a suggestion of our consultant Michel Roland to go a little bit back in time, to be more traditional, but still follow the more modern technique of the winemaking. So the family is all about the kids. They even named the vineyards after the kids. So in the bottles you can see Saint Ante, Saint Lucia, Saint Rocco. These are all the name of the kids from Mr. Ernest and Miss Ivana. And these are also the saints, name of the saints in Croatia. Rocco. Rocco is very well-known Croatian name, and very known saint also. So they did naming of the positions like this, and that's finally how the winery got the name Saints Hills. All these slopes named after kids. So mostly traditional winemaking, but we try to make a little bit modern, especially Posip. We are one of the first that want to lower alcohols a bit, and so on, to make a little bit more acceptable for foreign market, for the wine drinkers that don't want to be with a high alcohol, like we Croatian usually love. We love to drink 16% of alcohol, but maybe it's not well accepted all around the world. Yeah, we try to make more modern style of the wines.
It's not our fault that we have so much sun, you know.
Yeah, also.
But yeah, you mentioned a few times foreign drinkers, potential customers, buyers. So would it be fair to say that Saints Hills Winery is sort of doing an active effort towards promoting the wines outside of Croatia and working on exporting their wines as well?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
I just wanted to, because you mentioned a few times that you take care about what local people like to drink, but also what, you know, the foreign visitors or buyers like as well. So is it safe to say that you guys, aside, of course, from local consumption, also are making an effort to export your wines outside the borders of Croatia?
Yes, we are fully engaged in export. So we are doing the whole Europe and also US and Canada now with Croatia unpacked. But yes, we try to be more acceptable for international wine lovers. To explain a little bit more, also to teach them about the indigenous varieties. That's why we make some blends with Chardonnay. It's very much more recognizable to the wine drinkers all over the world. They always hear this Chardonnay and they ask about 𝗏𝗏. Also with Posip, our Posip is called Posh. So we try to make a little bit like a word game with words. So they are getting more interested in this variety, asking about where it's from and so on. So with Posip and Plavac, I think we did a very good job. We try to do it with foreign names, and like this, you try to make it a little bit more sound.
Yeah, I like it.
Of these Croatian phrases and so on.
I love, first of all, that they stuck to the indigenous grapes of Croatia, because if I'm drinking Croatian wine, I want to taste indigenous grapes to Croatia and not whatever, right? And I love that they kept the name simple, easy for foreigners to say, right? But yeah. From what I understand, the region is very special region in general for grape growing. So what's different like about Posh and like the whole area for Dingac and Plavac Mali?
Yeah, it's very, first for Dingac, it's very steep slopes. It's very unpleasant to work, very steep rocky soil. It's limestone with some minerals like quartz. So it's very, very special scenery of the vineyards with the terraces on the slopes. Plus, we have a lot of sun, like Bozidar mentioned, so a lot of high temperatures even during the night for Dingac area. Komarna area where we also grow Plavac Mali is a little bit different style with the cooler nights that make some different style of Plavac. That's very interesting to see how the variety grows in a different expositions. But yes, rocky soil, a lot of sun, exposure from the sea that we get. We are facing the seaside in Dingac, so you also get a reflection from the sea and also from the quartz that I mentioned. You get third isolation, like we call the direct sun, a reflection from the sea and also from the quartz. Quartz also preserves, gives more hot temperatures during the night, so the pH of the wine are a little bit lower. So there is a lot of challenges about the growing here. Like I said, Komarna, it's a little bit not so steep as Dingac, but still very, very, very rocky soil. Posip, on the other hand, is an island, so it's hard by itself to get the grapes from the island. There's organization is much different on the island, but there we have the fields. It's a field of the red soil that preserves a little bit more cooler nights and more water. More rain comes there, so it's again a little bit different fight with rain and so on. So it's all different, and we are very, very close here. Maybe in 50 kilometers distance, you get a microclimate that is very, very different, and you need to check every time. Not every year is all different. You need to pay attention all the time to be in the vineyard and also later in the winery.
So I'll be honest, being before, I had no idea what really went into a cost of a bottle of wine, not knowing any of this. But being to Croatia many times, and you know, my parents from the Dalmatian coast, I could see the slopes and how the vineyards are planted, and all these factors, of course, into the cost of a wine, right? So I assume that all your grapes are probably hand-picked, right? Yeah,
there is no other way, and no other way to pick. There is some there's mass production in Croatia, of course, but this position, especially in Dalmatia with the slopes, there is no other way. We have the workers that arrive. There is also one way of selection. It's for the winemakers. It's very good way to pick the grapes, to do even selection in the vineyards, to remove some too dry bunches of the grapes that you don't want to enter in the tank. And also we do second selection on big selection tables when the grapes arrive in the winery. We want to do even more selection of the berries. Plavac is very specific like this. It doesn't ripen evenly, so you need to pay a little bit more attention to the grapes, to the berries of Plavac before it enters the tank, and then the fermentation starts. Then it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, it is a very demanding region wherever you are here in southern Dalmatia. Komarna, very interesting grape growing region. We did have, Diana and myself did try some Komarna wine, one Komarna wine live. I think it was our first live from 𝗦𝗶𝗹𝗶𝘀 Winery. But yeah, I suggest we slowly go over to the tasting, if you guys don't mind.
Sure,
everybody has their wine, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So Saturday night we have three
we're
bottles
drinking
of
for
wine.
those who want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this would be 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 is the name of the, is the brand of the winery. Posip is the variety, wonderful white variety originating from island of Korčula, to our knowledge. And this wine, as you can see, sort of medium, dark lemon, sort of getting the hints of something a bit more darker, but lovely on the nose. All Saints Hills wines are very almost perfumey on the nose, and I love that. It's not too much, but it's just a wonderfully elegant aroma on the nose. Wow. Okay, so on the nose, a lot of stone fruit, some florals. I'm getting some elderflower, maybe. Some nice hint of citrus, some nice apple as well. I don't know, guys, am I missing something?
I think you got it. I'm getting like the peaches, apricot, a little bit of honey, maybe a little bit dried fig. Lemon for sure, like that lemon zest.
Yeah. A bit of minerality I'm
yeah, definitely.
picking up, or something similar to minerality, some sort of a saline note. Right. On the palate, and I'm just saying this so I can take another sip. Nice, very nice. It definitely needs to be well chilled, not too cold, but definitely chilled. Wonderful aromas. It doesn't feel, and this is going to come as a shock for somebody tasting this wine without having looked at the label, it doesn't feel like 13%. This is 13%. Quite, it's not too high for us, but it is quite high for a white wine. But this wine manages to not feel 13%. How did you do that?
Very well balanced.
What's this? What is this magic? How did you do it?
No. It's actually because of the batonnage that we are doing. We are fermenting in concrete tanks, and then we do it twice a day. We stir the lees in the tank. We try to bring it up from the deposition, and it brings more monoproteins from the lees, from cell of the leaf, and then you get a little bit more structure in the mouth, more body. Then you don't feel just alcohol. Plus, you preserve with the concrete. You preserve the freshness. We don't put it in a barrel. We don't want we want to preserve the freshness finally. So freshness and some structure. I think it balances a little bit the alcohol that are, as you said, still lower than the usual. Yeah. But still, for it's still a little bit higher than some other international wines. Yeah,
yeah. On a global scale, this is a substantial alcohol. On a southern Croatian scale, it's sort of middle of the road, but really well balanced, I would say, wine. Diana, I wanted to ask you now. This is silly because I know you're in Canada, but I don't see you as Canadian. I'm sure you're a proud Canadian, but I see you as sort of, you know, a fellow Croatian. So can you tell me about, you know, some of your friends over there or people you know that are trying these wines? Do they, how do they feel about these 13% whites?
Actually, no one's ever commented about the alcohol level, so that's good. But honestly, it's been interesting because most people don't see Croatia as a wine producer. So people are actually very surprised that there's Croatian wine, first of all, right? So when they do taste it, they're, you know, first of all, they're not familiar with our grapes. You know, everyone's used to the international grapes. So to hear Plavac Mali or Posip or whatever, they have no clue what that is, right? But as it's becoming more and more popular, especially with a lot of wines, like we had wine sell out over the weekend because finally it was available on our liquor store shelves, right? And that's very rare here. I think there's a growing appreciation for it. I want to say people are calling it like a new world wine. It's definitely not new world, but I think for people it's new in general. But I'm excited about it. Like, I mean, I'm born here in Toronto, but I'm very Croatian. As you know, my first language was Croatian. My parents made me go to Croatian school. I did Kolo. I did everything, you know. And I love Croatia. And that's why I love promoting it in whatever sense. And I especially see that wine industry is a difficult one to really push, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. And of course, do my wine studies. You know, yes, I want to know international wines, but my parents being from Croatia, I'd like to know more about Croatian wine. And the last actually being introduced to Croatia Unpacked has been amazing. Both Tanya and Sasha import such amazing wines. I know growing up, we did not have this. We had, I think, one wine. It wasn't great. And that was, I think, everyone's impression was like, oh, Croatian wine isn't great. I'm like, okay, give it a second chance. Okay, that was only what people don't realize, that Croatia never really exported wine before, right? So
yeah, there was
right. Like, I mean,
no chance to do it while in
exactly
Yugoslavia, or no need for it because of such a small production. Everything got consumed locally, which is partly still the case, actually. Which is. I get it, you know, it's good for the winemakers that they can sell everything locally and get really good price, but I would love, it would make my life so much easier if somebody else knew that Croatia was not a new world, you know, country when it comes to wine, and that Croatia is very diverse as a wine country.
And when I see it on the shelves, it makes me so proud. You know what I mean? Like being Croatian, like, oh my God, there's Croatian wine. I have to tell everybody, you know?
It is cool. I mean, yeah, you are right when you say that a lot of people get surprised to hear that Croatia is producing wine. Like people who come to Croatia, when they book a wine tour with me, for example, we meet and then they say, well, do you guys produce wine? And I'm like, yeah, this is a wine tour, so we have to produce it. But yeah, it's very surprising. Almost as surprising for somebody from Croatia that Canada produces wine, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, I think
we produce very good wine too.
yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna have to send you somehow our ice wine.
Yes, please. Yeah. My wife has been on me.
It's lovely. It's very.
Wine.
Yeah.
And I do want to get Canadian ice wine because
we'll
have
work
some,
on that.
Wine here as well, but I do want Canadian ice wine because it's a very special. It's a very special thing. Yeah. Before we move over to the next one, food pairing. Antonia, any thoughts?
some shrimps maybe, or some risotto.
Okay.
Risotto, some pasta, yeah, with the shrimps, with the seafood.
Okay.
On the coast, of course, watching the sea behind you.
Of course. I don't have that view, but okay.
You can check out our Instagram profile.
Exactly. I'll just drool over that.
Yeah, panoramas.
Yeah.
But yeah, seafood. What about Diana? What about the stuff you guys sort of eat on a regular basis? Anything that would pair well with this posh?
Honestly, even though I don't have the beautiful Adriatic views, we still eat quite a bit of seafood here. You know, we have a lot of imported seafood. So I would actually totally see this with like grilled octopus, any kind of seafood really. And I know myself when I was in Croatia, my biggest thing was the grilled octopus with the blitva, and you know, the total Croatian meal with this wine. I totally see it. But honestly, I see it pairing with like probably a risotto, a pasta. It just, I don't know, probably it's very balanced. It probably, you know, goes with a lot more than that, but that's my go-to. I'd say seafood for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a nice food wine as well. You can take a lot of different foods. This could find some wonderful pairings in the realm of vegetarian food as well, vegan food.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sort of steer away from the typical white wine with fish when I'm talking about white wines. But actually, this one, as soon as I tasted it, I'm like, oh my God, you know, nice piece of sea bass or bream that we have here, or red scorpion fish that we have here, you know, beautifully done, grilled or baked without too much, you know, over garlicky preparation as some people do. Unfortunately, Sasha here is screaming oysters.
Yeah.
Of course, oysters, 100%. That's in general. That's a given,
That's a
right?
no-brainer.
I think even chicken, though, it would go great with chicken. You know, nothing obviously too. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. You guys okay to go over to Rocco?
It's raining.
Well, actually, then you're one move ahead of me. I'll just
okay. So here we have the Rocco.
Myself. But you guys start without me, please.
Okay.
Yeah, do the
beautiful color.
The nose, if you want, Diana, please. Right. Look at this ruby goodness.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful color. I'm very sorry that we are probably not going to be able to give you the exact, beautifully intense ruby color of this wine. Sort of medium intensity color, clear. Oh my God, yeah. Very, very nice on the nose. We're talking sour cherry, cherry compote, a bit of a blueberry even, something sweet.
I'm even getting herbs from it.
Yeah, some herbs also.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and a bit of what was the vinification process with this barrels? What did you guys use?
First, after we receive the grapes, we ferment in the concrete. It's concrete tanks where we do the fermentation, and after the press, we put it in the barriques to do a malolactic fermentation first. After the alcoholic, it goes malolactic to soften the acids. Because Rocco, the common position, has a little bit cooler nights and it preserves really well the acidity. So you want to do malolactic first. For Rocco, it's a combination. There is like 50% of 50% of new barrels, and then some older barrels also, not to dominate too much the fruitiness. You can feel it. There is some Mediterranean spices also, so we want to preserve this. So just a combination of the new and old French oak barrels. and then it stays around 1 year, 1.5. The 2016 was 1 year in the barrels. After that, it was around 3 months in the concrete tank, just to gather all these aromas, and then bottling time for this wine. So the focus was to preserve the freshness and the fruitiness.
Thank you so much for not over-oaking it, because it would be a shame. It would be a shame to over-oak this wine. Some lovely primary aromas. But yeah, beautifully integrated woods. I love the fact that we do have these spicy aromas, woody aromas from the barrels, but they are definitely there as a accompanying piece, not to be pushed into the forefront. So very, very lovely wine as well. Diana, your thoughts?
I'm definitely getting, you know, some blackberry. I'm getting on the palate like a tart cherry. Some of the herbs like oregano, thyme.
Interesting. It does have a spicy note to it, without a doubt. But yeah, as I said, very nice that it's not over-oaky. Now, I did have a bit of a problem setting this up because, well, this thing is actually 12% alcohol, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so there's more, you know, by this, you know, somebody would maybe suggest to put this one as the first wine and then go over to Posh. But Posh is it's different, you know, it's served chilled, and it doesn't have the big impact as this one does, even with the difference in alcohol content. So is this 12% alcohol for Rocco? Is this something that you wanted to have, or was it you know, vintage was such that you couldn't get more? What's the situation? Is this the target? You know, in a perfect world, is this the target alcohol content for this wine?
Perfection for Rocco would be 13, a little bit higher, but it was like this. The vintage was like this. But first of all, is the Komarna, that is the newest wine growing region in Croatia. It was the land that was given by Croatian government to the winemakers that want to grow some wine there, to give some more work to the local people. So the stone, the land was there was crushed. It was crushed stone. So the wines, even though they have now 10 years, it's very unestablished yet. The roots are not going too deep yet. So maybe in a few more years we will get much more deeper roots. And this will bring a little bit more higher sugars finally to the wine. So we will expect some 13, but still not like Dingac, not like some other traditional localities. It will still be fresh like this with lower alcohol. So for Plavac, it's like, are we drinking Pinot or what? But when you open the bottles, when you open and taste the wine, you can still find a lot of full body and the tannins. I think you don't miss anything. You don't miss this volume of alcohol in the wine.
In fact, I'm actually very happy to have a wine like this, because it's incredible for the amount of different wines and wine growing regions that we have in the country. It's sometimes very difficult to find certain types or styles of wine in our supermarkets. Now, I know all the wine distributors here, so I don't usually go to a supermarket to get wine if I don't have to. But for, of course, majority of other people, if you have some sort of a lunch coming up that you need a light red wine for, regardless of the fact that there are a lot of lighter red wines being produced in the country, it's sometimes very difficult to get them in the shops. Maybe that's just here in the south of the country, I don't know. But the thing is, 12% red wine, especially good wine, is very hard to come by around here, which is ridiculous because we have such lovely lighter reds, or medium-bodied reds. But yeah, this is a wonderfully sort of refreshing wine to have on the market, and I love it very much. I was writing. I did try these wines earlier just to make sure that there's no problems with them. And I made some notes, and basically the first note I made for this one is that this is the only Plavac I ever tried, which I think would pair well with, especially well with duck breast, which is usually something that's sort of automatically associated with Pinot Noir. But I would love to try duck breast with this Plavac Mali. And in fact, if I do enough begging with my wife, maybe I will.
No, I love that it's not overpowering. It's not an overpowering wine, and it's definitely something I could see drinking over the summer too, like properly chilled. I think people, we always have this conversation, people don't drink it at the proper temperature, right? I know it's very different in Croatia. I know going to Croatia, people never refrigerated anything. So the temperature may not be at the right temperature where, definitely drinking a warm wine, if this was a little bit warmer, you might taste more alcohol on it, even though it's low in alcohol, but it's perfect for the summer. It's like light, but it still has the grippy tannins and the body,
Yeah, it's really a foodie wine. Yeah. You can pair it. You can start, if someone trying to get more known with Plavac, you can start with 𝗏𝗏. It's
exactly
good start with Plavac.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of foreign people coming to Croatia are sort of not prepared for the full hit of Plavac when it comes to tannins, when it comes to body, when it comes to alcohol. So this is a good starting off Plavac. We are getting some, I don't have a chance to read all the comments, so I do apologize. But yeah, we are getting some suggestions for charcuterie with this one, especially smoked charcuterie. And you're right, I mean, with a nice prosciutto, this would go beautifully.
Totally.
And everybody eats prosciutto here, unfortunately.
Yeah, never forget the prosciutto.
Yeah, people are not
it's the best.
able to produce as much as we eat, So yeah, this would be a wonderful pairing as well. Some lighter red meat, veal, roasted veal, stuff like that. I would love to pair with this one as well.
I think it's a great introduction for like foreigners here, Canadians, great introduction to Plavac Mali, to a Croatian wine. Like Plavac Mali, I think that was actually one of the first grape varietals that was available here. That wasn't fantastic. It was just, but it's a great introduction for anyone who wants to try Croatian wine, a red. It's a great one to go for.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? Very few people sort of think right off the bat, but actually is always a good idea. Wine like this, perfect for tuna steaks. Right?
Yeah, very meaty. Yeah.
With something like this, especially if you're doing some sort of a tomato-based sauce or tomato-dominated salads, really nice, really nice. Very cool, very cool. So we have, and 𝗏𝗏 is your price-wise is your entry-level Plavac Mali, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So 𝗏𝗏, a very good value for money indeed.
Yes, beautiful wine.
Right. So what we are left with is Dingac, and Dingac. Some of my Hong Kong friends will recognize Dingac because at the very beginning of last year, so before the whole COVID scare, I had a chance. I was going to Hong Kong and Macau and China with my wife because she goes over there for work. And we were there for a couple of months, actually. And I knew I will have enough time to meet some people because I never went there before. I was going to meet some people from the wine industry, which is, of course, very well developed, actually, in Hong Kong. I mean, the consumer side of it, of course. So I really wanted to bring some wines with me. And of course, I had a lot of luggage and not a lot of time to prepare. So basically, I made a selection of 6 bottles to take with me, and Dingac was one of them. So this was my, you know, I wanted to showcase some of the more modern approach to Dingac. I had a very old school Posip, which was very good as well, but I wanted to showcase something that was much more modern than pretty much anything we've had in the last, you know, what, a few hundred years. So this is a very, very modern Dingac. In my humble opinion, and of course, Antonija, you correct me if that was not your intention of producing, but I do think this is a Dingac that sort of takes what's good about traditional Dingac and makes it a bit more refined, maybe a bit more elegant, and a bit more approachable to everyday consumer, and a wine lover that's maybe more accustomed to wines from top quality wine regions of countries like Italy or France, for example.
Yes,
so,
the intention was to make more elegant, more polished wine, to again present the Dingac to what it can be, to the palate of the wine drinkers, and what they are used to it, and what they know. So the Dingac usually is much higher in alcohol. Normal, I think, is 16 with the local winemakers. They prefer this, and just a little bit of residual sugar. That was the tradition. Maybe more that the fermentation wasn't all the time very successful, or they like it like this. But we try to make a dry Dingac with a little bit less volume of alcohol, and still preserve the typical aromas of Dingac. I think if you taste the wine, you will still find this traditional winemaking. You can find it in the wine, but again with a more modern approach.
Yeah, you're right. Traditional Dingac very high in alcohol. Even modern Dingac that's sort of done in a traditional way rarely drops below 15% alcohol. And Dingac is, I mean, traditionally it's been sort of a bragging right. You know, I have grapes that are so potent and so full of sugar that I made, you know, 15.7 alcohol Dingac and still have residual sugar. So I understand the appeal, and I actually tried some really high alcohol Dingac wines that were actually really well balanced and come out being just a powerhouse of a wine. But unfortunately, a lot of times you would try, you know, Dingac that are maybe a bit sluggish, you know, that are maybe a bit on the syrupy side, or you know, overpowering your senses. So yeah, even you know, stronger Dingac wines now, when coming from a good winemakers, are less like that, you know, are more elegant than they used to be. But this is taking it, I think, one step further in a quest of getting sort of a drinkable, elegant Dingac. 14%, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
But on the nose, very much a lot of these traditional Dingac aromas. You have your blackberry, you have your red berry fruit, you have, in my book, carob, some of the sun-dried fig, even a bit of coffee.
Spices.
Yeah, you have this wonderful, again, touch of wood. We're talking, you know, cigar box. We're talking aged wood, and a bit of spicy, of course, notes, herbal notes even. There's a lot going on, Am I missing something, Diana?
I think you nailed it all on the head. Like, I mean, it has like definitely berry flavors and it has the herbs and the spices and everything. But Antonia, a question for you about Dingac. When someone says Dingac, like, I mean, we don't know here in Canada, what is Dingac? Is it an appellation? Is it something famous for Plavac Mali in particular?
Yeah, I think that was the first protected appellation in Croatia back in the 1960s. It was first protected as a special wine growing position. Dingac is just the name of the position of the locality. Yes, that is only Plavac Mali grown, no other varieties. So a special position for Plavac Mali, and when you see Dingac on the bottle, that's 100% Plavac Mali grown in this few, just 60 hectares in total. So just a small position named Dingac.
And when it comes to better known positions around the coast, rarely can you find a more dramatic view than the view of Dingac.
Yeah.
With very, very steep hills going all the way down to the sea itself. Some vineyards very close to the sea, actually. Sasha here is talking.
Bush wines.
Bush wines, yeah.
Bush wines, yeah. Bush wines are used. Why? Now you tell us, why are a lot of our Plavac Mali wines, especially in Dingac, done as a bush wines, so or goblet, so without what do you call it?
Yeah, the wires. The angoblet. It means like a little umbrella. That's maybe the best word. That little umbrella of the leaves and the shoots that growing down to the near the soil. It's actually protecting the grapes from the heat, from the sun, not to be burnt finally too much. So when you have this vegetation and green mass, it protects the grapes a little bit more than when you grow it, put it straight through the wires and exposed to the sun. Yeah. Also, it's nature's way how to also grow grass, weeds a little bit less. It protects also the soil, so it's a little bit easier to work like this. You don't have to do any agritechnical measurements during the vegetation.
By the way, and we did get a comment about earthy notes in this wine, and definitely earthy notes here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we had a mention of mushrooms, I would say maybe dried leaves and stuff like that. Very much so. Very pleasant earthy notes. Sometimes, a lot of times, Pelješac winemakers have problems of getting the seasonal workers for the process of harvesting grapes. Did you guys run into that problem? What's the situation these past few years?
Oh yeah. I had a lot of problems when I started. It was more the workers than the viticulture problems. Disease are definitely not the problems in Dingac with the steep slopes, a lot of sun. There is no disease that come with a lot of moisture. But yes, we did had some problems with the workers. It's very hard, and people here in the region are getting older. Younger population is not very interested in viticulture, and they are moving all around Europe, not very interested in agriculture. But yes, we had some Filipino workers now finally, so that was our solution. That is a little bit sad, but that was the only way how to do Dingac.
Right. Well, look, I mean, somebody will want to work, so it's not a. But I mean, all joking aside, it's not an easy job.
It's not.
No.
I mean, if you. Unfortunately, for migrant workers, it also doesn't last long, because a lot of times when migrant workers go around Europe for agricultural work, they're sort of timing it so that when they're done with, for example, grapes, they move over to something else. Then maybe they move over to olives. So they can string together like 2 or 3 months of work. Very hard work, but they get a lot of money. On 𝗏𝗏𝗃, you have a lot of vineyards and you have some olives as well, definitely, but not a lot to string together a very long period of working. And it is very, I mean, the sun in Dingac, it's ridiculous when it's the hottest, you know, part of the day.
Yeah.
Croatia's so hot in the summer. Like, I personally love it, but I can't. I'm on vacation and I'm enjoying the beach. I can't imagine working in that heat.
I don't like it. I always said I was born in a too warm of a place, you know.
Okay, let's switch.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We can do house swapping. We'll do something.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds good to me.
Right. Food pairings. I don't want to talk a lot about food pairings because we could.
It's kind of obvious, right?
This is a big wine. This can go with a lot of things. Wild game, maybe, especially wild fowl, you know, quail or stuff like that. Venison, maybe. Just a lot of these meat dishes. This could go well with certain steaks, with certain sauces. I don't know. Roast.
So someone's asking if we should decant the I would recommend it. Yeah.
Perfect question. Yeah, it's if you have the luxury, if you have some time planning, if you're having a party in the afternoon and evening, you decant in the morning. You open the bottle, or just open the bottle and leave it like this in the morning, or you decant. Is the 12 hours is the most perfect. When we open in the restaurant in our winery, we have a little bistro. We open sometimes at the night, and then next day when we try it is the perfection. That's really recommended for.
I can really see it only getting better, right, as it opens.
Yeah, opening, you can feel some new aromas. It's really good to decant.
So I'm really excited. I'm part of a wine club, and it's all men, and they're all Italian. So they wanted to try a Croatian full-bodied wine, and this is what I recommended, the Dingac. So they're all getting a delivery of this, so I can't wait to hear their thoughts on it.
Yeah, the Cuban cigar, of course.
Exactly.
That's nice pairing too.
Yeah.
You're right. You're very right. And Italians, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's okay, you know, it's not Barolo, but it's okay." So yeah, I have some Italian blood in me as well. I know the drill. So yeah. But you will see a twinkle in their eye. They know
what's good. My husband's Italian, and he actually loves this wine. So.
Cool. So these are the 3 wines that we had to taste. I don't particularly need to rank them in any order because they are very different wines for very different purposes.
Yeah.
Posh, of course, wonderful summer wine, but not just summer wine. It's not overly simple. It's a medium-bodied white, I would say, that also goes well with a variety of foods, but doesn't need food. You can do it just as a refresher, and you will not be sorry. 𝗏𝗏𝗃, very interesting, light red made from Plavac. That's very nice wine because we have some, you know how Plavac gets. If you have Plavac in those areas that don't get a lot of sunshine, you don't really have any choice but to create lighter reds. And sometimes they're nice and fruity and straightforward. Sometimes they are a bit overly simple. But 𝗏𝗏𝗃 is none of the two. It's a very well-produced, lighter Plavac that, as you said, Antonija, will probably get a bit higher in alcohol with some time in the vineyard. But I mean, a few more years on the vines. But actually, I wouldn't go too high up because if you want your big-bodied red, well, you have Dingac, which is perfect for the role. So I think 𝗏𝗏𝗃, as it is, has a really good place on the market. Really, And in fact, I know about it, but I didn't know, I didn't have the exact alcohol content in mind. Now that I know, this is definitely going to be my go-to lighter red when I'm having guests. You know, and it's Croatian, it's from 𝗵𝗴𝗃, which I mean, okay, Komarna, but made on 𝗵𝗴𝗃. So I have all the boxes ticked, you know, local patriot and lovely wine, you know. Sasha asking, what is new at Saint Hills? What do you have coming? Any news? What's happening?
Oh, we opened the restaurant just few days before, so
nice.
We are expecting guests. There are some people coming, tasting the wines. We have I hope for a good season also in 𝗵𝗴𝗃 regarding the wine region, and for all the wineries in 𝗵𝗴𝗃 we hope for the best, that people are coming back. About Saint Hills, so far no new labels, but you never know with us. expect some new things. Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited about the Croatian wine scene internationally, especially here in Canada, and receiving so many great Croatian wines and all the Saint Hills wines. And I obviously can't wait to visit there. I'm hoping this summer. I'm hoping.
No, really?
All of August, I'm hoping for 5 or 6 weeks in Croatia. So I hope to see both of you this summer.
Yeah, with a pleasure, of course.
Yeah, but the wines are fabulous. I love them, and I'm so excited to actually introduce them to the Canadian market along with Croatia. I'm packed bringing them here, and hopefully we'll see them on the shelves. That would make all the difference as well, too, right?
Yeah, in fact, this is the before we actually go away, definitely want to ask everybody to follow us for more updates, Wine Lovers Croatia, follow us for all the news about Croatian wine scene. Of course, Diana, follow Diana on Diana's Healthy Living and Girls Drink Wine too, which is a very exciting new project that she has going on. By the way, Girls Drink Wine too, is this something that you are going to be working on while in Croatia as well?
Absolutely. Honestly, Girls Drink Wine too just came up because I was taking my wine courses. It literally was just like, I don't know, I just made it and I didn't know what was going to happen with it, and it's evolved. So I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm on my 𝗣cie 3 right now, halfway through, writing my exam in July, hopefully. Maybe we'll see what happens.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. It's very different than 𝗣cie 2, that's for sure. But I'm definitely excited about learning more about Croatian wine with Bozidar and seeing it firsthand. Like, I mean, traveling to Croatia all these years, I've never really, I just drank it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like anybody, I just drank it. I never really thought about what went into it, right? But now I have so much more appreciation for it, and I'm humbled, and I love it, and I love to promote it to my fellow Canadians.
Very nice. And Antonia, you can follow her on Antonija Car. What was it? Yeah, the little dash on the bottom. And of course, follow Saint Hills Winery. They're a very cool winery. They make very nice wine, but they also put a lot of effort in promoting themselves, and that's always nice to see, especially in Croatia, where a lot of good winemakers don't do that, unfortunately. And that will be it for me. Antonia, thank you so much for being with us. Any last thoughts for our viewers this evening?
Well, enjoy our wines. I hope it's still available on the shelves, that you find a bottle. Hurry up, don't miss it. And I hope to see you in Croatia. Finally, travel, and come to 𝗵𝗴𝗃, come to see us in the winery, and it will be a pleasure to say hello to you and drink some glass of wine on a terrace.
I can't wait. 𝗥𝗶𝗹𝗃, right?
Yeah. Right, that's all from us. We are now left, unfortunately, because
open bottles.
Yeah, this is.
We just have to drink them. That's all.
So,
Please don't waste it, please.
oh no, you don't know us. We don't waste this.
No, never no waste.
Yeah, no, God forbid, God forbid.
No.
But anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Diana. We are
Thank you, Bozidar
already
and Antonija.
Workshop, and thank you, everybody. Cheers, 𝗥𝗶𝗹𝗹𝗀, and see you guys very soon. Antonija, see you on 𝗥cie š𝗶𝗽.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.